This is Adam Restad reporting from the 2013 Pres Day invite for Skide Magazine as part of our college tour sponsored by Spin Ultimate. Jake? Zach. I'm here with Zach Castillos from Arizona Sunburn, an injured player who's going to be helping us out with commentary today. Zach, looks like Minnesota is getting underway. They're going to start pulling the disc to Arizona. But before they get started, let's talk a little bit about Arizona's path to the finals here. You guys have gone through a couple big teams and a couple close matches, but you've stayed pretty resilient. You've been in control all weekend. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. In pool play, we faced a Virginia Tech squad that was pretty underranked. They gave us the most trouble, I'd say. We played Washington and the other teams pretty close, but managed to pull away at the end. Our quarterfinals, after our power pool play, we breezed through Santa Cruz and pulled away at the end of the Colorado game in the semifinals.
All right. And then a close game at the beginning against Colorado, but you guys pulled away at the end, defeating them 14-9 in a decisive finish.
Yeah, I'd attribute that to the zone. Even without the wind, Colorado looked very stagnant in the middle and just couldn't seem to find the poppers. A lot of their hammers over the top were completed, but there were also a lot that were D'd or just misread.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of zone, it looks like Minnesota starts out in a zone look, and now they're transitioning to man. Arizona handling just fine, popping discs over the top, and a foul is called as Minnesota transitions into a man defense. Play resumes, but a violation. Disc is tapped in as Arizona swings the disc. Large grab by Lien, number 13 on Arizona, and an IO flick, for a dropped pass in the end zone. Arizona's gonna have to fight to get that one back. Minnesota takes over with number 5 picking up the disc for the Minnesota squad. That is Vinny Vick walking it up to the line. Minnesota showing a vert stack and immediately getting out to their tight offensive sets. Disc is swung to the center of the field, and an IO break to the far sideline. Minnesota showing patience, just content with dumping it back and forth to handlers. Back to Vinny Vick, and upfield to number 8. Minnesota works it up the line, looks to center, but an upline pass is quick. And Minnesota calls time. Arizona looks to take this disc back. Still
Arizona
the opening
coming out
point
in their
here.
man defense set.
That is Steven Lynn on the mark. And Vic looks immediately at IO break. Not quite in. Still playing very tight man defense. Stall count's getting high. And a 2-foot inside flick just puts it in for Grey Duck. That's one break. Observers do rule it in. Maybe that celebration was a little bit earlier, but an early break for Grey Duck hopefully doesn't set the tone for the rest of the game, but certainly showing signs of a national contender.
And Tom McClintock is a grad student we picked up from Amherst, who has some nice throws, especially in the wind. He was huge for us at MLC.
Mm-hmm. Vic with the pull, and Arizona looks to answer back after the opening break by Minnesota.
Arizona starting with a side stack. It's one of our set plays that we use a lot.
And Vic poaches a throw, but there's a foul on the play. Looks like the disc is going back. At least there's discussion about it.
Alex Smith notorious for throwing through the mark and calling a foul.
Has Alex Smith played anywhere else other than Arizona?
He's from Seattle. He played at the Seattle Academy, I believe, in high school.
Okay.
And then came to Arizona for college.
More of that Seattle youth showing. They seem to be everywhere.
Yeah. Alex Smith, Jacob Lean, and Bryce Dixon are high school players. Bryce Dixon from Georgia, and Jacob Lean from Minnesota.
And another miscue by Arizona. Leaves the disc about 15 yards out and about 5 yards from the sideline for Minnesota. They're looking to break again. Ooh. And a tough throw by Vic. Finds the ground instead of the receiver. Arizona back on offense and glad to be there. Arizona to yet shoot it deep. Maybe they're not quite as confident yet in this game with their receivers as they have been. There's a wonderful upline pass. Stephen Lynn looks underneath, but Vic is in the lane to stop that cut short. Swings, great break side movement to Stephen Lynn. On over to Alex Smith. Alex Smith looks for the break, and it's, ooh, Stephen Lynn lays it there.
Out there. Ben Lacey pulls it down for the score.
Arizona showing that they do know how to swing the disc. They do know how to work it against this much more athletic Minnesota defense. And who's your coach is Juan Castro. Is he just a Arizona local, or does he play for?
He's an Arizona local. He played for Tucson club mixed team Barrio.
Oh, okay.
Who's made an appearance at Club Nationals a few times. Actually, Bryce Dixon and Alex Smith also played for that team.
Arizona's pull rolls out of bounds, so Minnesota will take it at their end zone line. Arizona in their zone defense look. We'll see what Minnesota can do with this. Greg Aronson pops it through to Jason Tashida. Jason Tashida, number 66 there, surprisingly short and surprisingly fast. He's certainly a threat both with and away from the disc. Minnesota patient with their swings, trying to find holes through, but gaining minimal yards. A lot of people around the disc there. Aronson gets a look upfield, but the zone is there to collapse. Aronson steps through, is fouled on the throw. Throw will go back.
Yeah, this is one of two variations of this zone defense. This one is where they clog the middle and try and push the throws to the outside. The other one is where they force a team to work it through the middle, and we have Sean Ham as our point, I guess you'd say, our short deep.
Minnesota resumes back swinging the disc. Again, Arizona playing excellent containment defense. In their game against Colorado, Colorado was forced 100-plus throws sometimes in some points lasting up to 7 or 8 minutes because they could not find those holes. So very effective at containing college defenses or college offenses with this zone. Minnesota seems patient, though.
Got some sort of call on the field.
Cool, thanks, guys. Oh, where's my pizza? Hey, guys, you want pizza?
Minnesota with a drop, leaves Arizona with a disc about 20 yards out.
Bryce Dixon picks up.
Brown is playing.
Bryce Dixon
Releases a hammer for a score.
Arizona breaks back.
Observers rule that in. A short pull, but it bounces. And Klain centers. High release backhand breaks through the cup. And Minnesota is comfortable again, just bouncing it between handlers. Josh Klain on the sideline, throws a pretty blade around the cup. And Minnesota looks patient.
Past a bidding Bryce Dixon. Minnesota holds.
Minnesota holds. I think that will be the key to breaking this zone open, as teams have been very hesitant to go over the top, and when they have, they've had limited success. Greg Aronson with the pull.
No, I mean, well,
And it barely stays in bounds. Good pull. Break side throw. They continue to the break side to Leon. Leon launches a high release flick. Can Arizona get there? Not quite. A little bit out of the reach.
oh man, I got a lot of notes.
Minnesota will take over on offense. Working slightly upwind. There's only a slight breeze here, but it's been somewhat of a factor
We just got, all it is
to these college teams.
break Casey's legs.
We'll see if Minnesota can work the full 70. Greg Aronson gets things started. And Minnesota holsters the huck. Aronson still working in the downfield area. Stall count getting high.
Minnesota
And there's the
looks
huck
deep.
that's Minnesota so well known for. Greg Aronson goes up and misses. Great defense by Alex Smith to be there and contest the throw. Number 32,
Tom McClintock.
Tom
picks up the disc.
McClintock picks up the disc and was also there for the break side help on that defense. So bravo to Arizona to get men around that
really
disc.
working the break side here.
Alex Smith swings to Leon.
Puts it out to space for McClintock.
Or they get that first wicket cut, and then they start swinging. They just start, so they're just knocking. They just start.
Minnesota with some tight D.
Because like, they,
But Arizona showing
the big guy number 72.
telltale signs of their offense. They've been very patient all weekend with those handler cuts. They're very patient, very dedicated in that downfield. Ooh, uncharacteristic throwaway.
Yeah, just a little bit behind Alex Smith there. Minnesota back with the disc.
But Arizona in their offensive looks have been very decisive with their handler cuts, being very patient, waiting for their opportunities to open up downfield before they cut. Their cutters have a lot of room, and it's unfortunate.
Minnesota looking
Minnesota
deep again.
hucks again. Greg Aronson, who goes up and gets it.
So all they do is cut them in the front. If they get it, they need a beast.
Aronson shoots the hammer, and he hangs on by 2 fingers. That is number 18, Brandon House, for the break. Grey Duck running relatively open lines with a couple mainstays. Number 66 and number 31 you'll see a lot of. Toshida and Dave Eddy. Minnesota with the pull. And Arizona knocks it down in their own end zone. And looks to work it up the field. Quick break to Lacey. Lacey with the disc. Swings it to the open side. Back to the break. Low throw, but it's controlled. And there's a stoppage of play.
Yeah, it looks like Minnesota's calling that disc down.
Disc goes back. Toshida on the mark. Excellent grab. Arizona shoots it up line. And once again, very comfortable with their dumps and swings, changing the point of attack.
How much is it? Three?
Quick high release break. Back to McClintock. McClintock stretched out with an easy throw.
Pepperoni?
Alex Smith hangs on past a bidding Grey Duck defender. It looks like we've got a foul called away from the disc.
Looks like Seth Stevens called the foul, saying that the Grey Duck defender threw in a bit of an arm bar. Disc is in on 0. Alex Smith in control with the disc. Stevens cuts up line. Just feet outside of the end zone. McClintock can't quite get there as the high release floats into the ground.
Got an injured Grey Duck player. Bit of an awkward bid there.
Minnesota going into a host stack.
Arizona sticking with man defense.
Minnesota shoots it right away to Jason Tashida. And left-handed grab. He quickly calls a timeout. Man, that kid is fast. Unsuspecting at 5'6". Tashida, not only being fast, is a pretty effective handler. He can be deadly with that disc. So we'll see if he's going to be the point of attack here, or if he's going to dump it to number 31,
Nolan
Dave Eddy.
Schmallenberger marking up against him.
He swings to Klain. Klain looks at that break side. Centers back to Klain. Tashida streaking to the open side, and a high release flick.
Just sails
Awkward angle, just sails
outside.
right past the Grey Duck offender.
Yeah, Arizona offense getting set again. Sam We May with the disc.
Klain trying to get cheeky, gives Arizona another chance at this point.
Threads it up line to Nolan Schmallenberger.
Great grab, but looks like Tashida's calling a foul, holding his face. He may have gotten an elbow there. Mostly inadvertent. I would say all inadvertent, but Tashida still makes the call. He overturns it. Disc stays. Arizona on the sideline. Looking to get it off. A great lefty high release. Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, he
Jacob
is a
Lean
lefty.
scoops that up off the ground.
Leanne still
And throws
throws straight
Grey
into a
Duck
poach. Arizona desperate to get it off the line. Couldn't see that poach by Dave Eddy there. Grey Duck swinging again. Observer calls not in. Number 71, Nick Semolini. I think I said that wrong. With the disc, and Klain threads it around the defender.
Grey Duck breaks
Chasing
again.
Leanne. Grey Duck breaks. What is that? Does that bring us to 4-2?
I believe you're right.
Observers are signaling ready, and Grey Duck looks to pull. Greg Aronson with the pull again.
Fielded by Tom McClintock. Centers to Bryce Dixon.
Wind is slightly at Arizona's back here. Dixon breaks,
Quick
and a
dish to
big
Smith.
throw by Alex Smith, floating to Ham.
Sean Ham pulls it down for the goal.
An easy break side throw. Arizona back to doing what they know how to do best.
Yeah, this is going to look like a zone look from Sunburn. We've got AJ Garnello in the front line, and Kyle Weekend as a deep.
Skipping pull fielded by Tashida to Eddy.
Yeah, Sunburn back in the zone look they've thrown all weekend.
Minnesota walking it back and forth in the middle of the field. Aronson to Eddy, losing a few yards. A lot of red shirts in a single area. Josh Klain to Eddy, to the sideline. Ooh, and through the
middle
cup.
there.
Very close throw. 17 centers back to Eddy, and the zone gets reset. Minnesota somewhat slow to move the disc. And there's a couple of quick throws. Tashida back to 17, all the way to the sideline to Klain.
Oh, nice scuba
Scuba over the top to Tashida, right back to Greg Aronson. Aronson centers back, and all the way over to Eddy. Number 17 is Rain Boyd. Minnesota still very patient, very few over the top throws, but very safe over the top throws as well. Eddy to Aronson. Aronson tries to draw the foul and throw through. Back to Eddy. Eddy, Klain, Tashida, and Aronson all within 10 yards of the disc. All of them wanting their chance of breaking through this zone. Arizona very patient in their zone look, confident that they're going to make this Minnesota offense work for every point. Throw count is probably close to the 40s already. And there's the missed throw that Arizona's waiting for. That's a big turn for Arizona to get themselves back in this game. Bryce Dixon picks it up and releases a quick
Kyle
throw.
Wiegand up line.
Up line.
It's Ryan Lacey, Ben Lacey's older brother.
On the line knocking, and
He
Bryce
sends it to Bryce
Dixon
Dixon.
walks it in. There's a call on the play. Greg Aronson.
And
Stephen
Arizona
Hubbard
gets the
rules
goal.
goal. Greg Aronson making his case, crossed arms, but it's not going to matter.
That's Bryce Dixon with a goal. Ryan Lacey, Ben Lacey's older brother, with the assist.
Arizona looks to trap Minnesota downwind. And a big pull, sailing. We'll see if this lands in bounds. Wiegand had trouble with throwing it out the back 2 or 3 times in their Colorado game. It looks like this one's out the back as well. Minnesota will take it at their brick mark, with Arizona a chance to set that zone. Eddie to pick up. And Arizona sets that big mark. Again, Minnesota stays very close to this disc, with 4 players around it within 10 yards almost at all times. Very little spread.
Yeah, that's just bringing the Arizona zone even closer on the disc as well. We've got a lot of white centered around that disc.
Minnesota quickly loses 10 yards, but maintains the disc. And there's the throw by Klein over the top to number 1, Josh Kautz. Centers the disc back to Tashida. Tashida to Klein. Klein
Another blade.
finding his stride with those blades.
Out of bounds. Arizona disc.
Observer rules. And there it is. There's the high risk, high reward. Klein looking to break the zone wide open, and the receiver finds himself with the foot out of bounds. Dixon to pick up against Aronson with the mark. Aronson setting a big mark. He's quite a tall frame. But Dixon with
high
a...
release flick. That is his go-to break there.
He has thrown that again and again this weekend with great success. Another
Lacey
break
hits
to Sean Ham. Ham with the disc, very patient, finds their main handler, Dixon. Dixon,
Oh, that's going to
it could be out of bounds, and he doesn't catch the disc.
We've got Arizona player Kyle Wiegand down.
Wiegand down, looks like he came down awkward on that arm. That would be a big blow to Arizona. He is their main puller. This is slowing down the flow of the game, which could benefit Arizona. Minnesota seeming to want the faster-paced, pick it up and jacket sort of play, but Arizona's comfortable with this slow pace.
Yeah, Arizona subs Jacob Lean in for Kyle Wiegand.
And play resumes. Let's hope Kyle Wiegand is fine. Eddie picks it up on the line,
Arizona stays in their zone look.
and Eddie breaks it around with an outside-in flick. Back to Kautz. Kautz to Klein.
Thank you, guys. Take your time.
All the way over.
Minnesota with lots of swings again.
Minnesota centers to Eddie, swings to Klein. Klein looking to break. Klein looking to go over the top, but finds Tashida for a 2-yarder. Tashida centers back, very low throw. Minnesota centers to Eddie.
Threading it through right there.
Again, Minnesota keeping things very tight in that zone, allowing Arizona to crash or stay tight against those crashes. Minnesota drops 10 yards again. They're finding it hard to work upfield. But they're confident in moving the disc. Ooh, it's popped up by
Miscue, and
Tashida.
Sean Ham slaps that down.
Arizona's there to eat it up. Bryce Dixon picks it back up. Tashida and Ham getting into it. Both very big receivers. One extremely fast, the other extremely powerful. That Ham-Tashida matchup is going to be fun to watch all day.
Got a call on the field.
Oh, yeah.
Looks like a pick in the stack.
The younger Lacey brother with the disc. We'll see if it stays with him. Marked by number 1, Ryan Osgar from Minnesota. Another call on the play. Play stops. Observer Hubbard steps in, makes a ruling, in on 0. Arizona nearing the end zone, needing this to get back on serve. It's
Field with the
4-4.
disc, swings
Wide
just out
swing
of
that's
reach.
just out of reach for Leon. Foul called on the play. We'll see if this stays with Arizona. They definitely want that one back. Only about 10 yards out of their end zone. Arizona feeling pressure on those handler cuts that have been wide open all weekend. But just starting in the semis with Colorado and now Grey Duck, they're starting to feel that first taste of
Leon puts up a high release.
Tashida's there to eat it up. Minnesota ball. Arizona back in their zone defensive look. Wanting to get this back. Very long point. Still at 4-4. A very close game. Both teams playing similar styles of offense, but Arizona very happy to control the defensive flow and the speed of the game. Eddie threads it through to the sideline to Tashida. Tashida back to Klein. Klein is trapped. Klein drops it to Aronson. Aronson and Io backhand break to Tashida. Tashida to Klein. To Boyd. All the way over to Aronson. Aronson gets it with some room to look upfield, but is frustrated with his downfield cutters. Minnesota not finding any progress downfield, but move back and forth. Finally some upfield cuts by the handlers, but Aronson's still hanging around that disc. Slowly gaining yards now. Klein swings to Eddie, to Aronson at the center of the field. Aronson to Klein. Klein swings over, back to Klein. Klein to Tashida. That cut to Aronson is blocked. Tashida to Klein for a loss of 5. Another loss of 5. There's the fed through up line to Aronson. Aronson looks off a
Hammer over the
receiver,
top.
throws the hammer, and we have a score. That is to Brandon House, number 18. Minnesota maintains their lead. Minnesota up 5, Arizona 4. Arizona's defense might have to take a few chances with clamping down on handlers a little bit tighter, leaving maybe more holes. But if Minnesota stays as patient as they have been,
Yeah, the zone thrives on an impatient offense.
Arizona back in their vertical stack. Cutter's very dedicated in those lanes.
Got a call on the field.
Look at Arizona's offense right here. They're so determined to get in the right spot. Very disciplined team. The handlers have all the field to look at, all the field to throw to. And it's just a matter of the Arizona receivers getting a step or two. And they will be wide open.
Sam May with a nice sliding grab there. Centers to Ben Lacey.
The Arizona offense doing what they do, keeping it tight within their handlers, waiting for that opportunity. Lots of upline cuts, lots of swings, lots of breaks. These Arizona handlers look like they've played together for years. Arizona with a wild lefty scoober. Is he lefty?
He is.
He is
the
lefty,
only lefty
okay.
on the team, Nolan Schmallenberger there.
Nolan Schmallenberger. Leanne catches it,
Milking it for yards.
holds it.
Watch for the hammer there. Lean's been known to throw
Clintock
them.
pulls it down in front of a spitting Grey Duck defender. McClintock, another easy upline, but there's a call on the play. Looks like a pick. Seth Stevens sends it back to McClintock. Arizona 25 yards out. McClintock, guarded by Shaw. McClintock leans out, sends a breakside IO. And it's that easy for Arizona. McClintock breaks there wide open with maybe a risky throw, but he seems to know exactly what he's doing. Arizona looking to pull.
Here's Bryce Dixon with a pull.
This was surprisingly easy. I saw it this morning.
This one sits in
Blades
bounds.
into the ground, right in the middle of the field.
And here's
Minnesota
the zone.
starts off.
Well, so this threw me off.
Arizona back in that zone look. Minnesota using that same look. Aronson, Sheeta, Eddie, and Klein to break this zone open. Arizona's receivers seem to be completely out of this game. It's almost as if Minnesota wants to play 5-on-7, but they're doing it rather effectively.
Yeah, Minnesota working up the middle.
Minnesota finding those holes, bouncing the disc quickly. It seems to be the most effective way to attack this zone is to just bounce that disc. When handlers get too complacent to look for those breakthrows, the zone has a chance to set. And Arizona might need to make an adjustment here. Minnesota now 10 yards out. Sheeta to Eddie. To Boyd. Aronson
Grey Duck
with
just
some room.
finding holes through the middle.
Not quite in. They're 1 yard out. Sheeta to Eddie to Klein. Arizona stays in the zone look. Dropping back a few yards. Decides not to shoot it to Aronson. Back to Klein. Arizona clamps down. Swing to Sheeta, all the way to Eddie. And they're back 10 yards from the end zone now.
Yeah, Arizona's zone clamping down just a little bit.
Clean to Aronson. Aronson looking. Aronson wants it.
Hammers.
Aronson wants it. And it's
Out
too
of
much to handle. You could tell Aronson was getting frustrated with that zone. He just wanted the disc and wanted to put it in. Couldn't believe that his handlers couldn't find the holes that he saw. But he gets the disc and turns it away. Ryan Osgar couldn't handle it. Leon picks the disc up. Looks like he's going to immediately
Puts
shoot
it
it.
up for Riley Cleel.
It's a contested throw. Oh, and just a slight misread. Back in the zone for Arizona,
Grey Duck with a full 70 to go.
but high risk throw for Arizona. Could have worked out really well for them to get that break back. But Minnesota's back on offense. Sheeta with a low release backhand to Aronson.
And there
Grey
it
Duck
is.
finally
Grey Duck
finds their
scores.
receivers. Very quiet number 18 House to a very quiet number 1 Ryan Osgar for the score. That brings us to 6-5, Minnesota favor.
Yeah. Arizona's zone talking it over on the sidelines. This little bit of wind might add to the effectiveness. Aronson with a huge pull.
And the pull by Aronson. Handled by McClintock. And Arizona centers the disc. Arizona in their side stack. Swing to Leon. Leon turns. Looks to exercise some patience, but throws up a scuba instead. Alex Smith with the disc.
I don't know. That's the kind of thing that's always touched
Centers.
me, and I was always thinking, like, someday it'll not pay off. It'll feel like an idiot.
And Arizona looking confident again with their dumps and swings.
Yeah,
A
Alex
great-
Smith just working downfield. Hand block there.
Uncharacteristic. Grey Duck looks to capitalize. Eddie picks up, releases it to Aronson. Aronson, Tashida. Names we're saying a lot this game. Aronson and Tashida. Minnesota very confident in those top 5 players. Eddie breaks to Vic. Vic back to Eddie. At the center of the field, Stephen Lynn on the mark. Looking to not get broken. But Aronson puts a disc out into space. And there it is. Another break for Minnesota. Arizona needs this one to keep some life in before Grey Duck takes half.
Dixon to Schmallenberger. Hits Lean. Lean puts it deep.
Lean deep again. But that one's going to work out.
And bidding Ben Lacey pulls it in. Arizona scores.
Arizona back to their tricks. And this is the second finals appearance for Arizona already this year. They won the Santa Barbara Invite a few weeks ago.
Yeah, very close game against Florida State, down to Universe Point.
And Florida State ended up doing pretty well in warm-up this weekend. So that's a very formidable opponent to defeat.
Yeah, they're a very solid team with very confident receivers and a strong defense. Oh, Grey Duck looking deep immediately.
This is a play that we've seen all weekend.
Just out of reach.
Tashida pulls down, takes it to Eddie, and just waits while Tashida strikes deep. They've had a lot of success with that 1-2 play all weekend. This is a rare overthrow by Eddie, but Tashida was open, maybe only by a half step. But Arizona happy to capitalize on this.
Dixon with the disc. Schoonmaker at the back of the stack, cutting already.
Moves it to the open side, back to Dixon. Dixon releases it.
Deep. Ham on the receiving end.
Sean Ham, I can't see him not coming down with this. He's such a strong defender. Oh, Stephen Lynn needs to turn around and watch that. Eddie sets the mark. Sean Ham needs to be patient. There it is.
And Bryce Dixon reels it in.
There's a call.
Call everything at once.
Be big for Arizona to come into this next point with a chance at half.
Sending the disc back. There's a foul called.
Dixon with a hard cut, but it goes back. I think this will reset.
I think you're right. I think the disc is coming in on 0. Yeah.
Sean Ham with another full 10 seconds. He needs to. And there it is.
It's Bryce Dixon. And there's an Arizona break back.
Dixon proves to be awfully squirrely in that upfield slot. Too much for Boyd to handle.
There's Dixon with the pull.
Dixon with a big pull. And Arizona runs down to put defense on. The pull handled by Klain. And Eddie back with the disc. Eddie to Tashida. It's a man. Disc back to Eddie.
Of the Arizona defense. We haven't seen a lot of man defense this weekend.
Throw a giant blade.
Ham on Aronson.
The guy with the white
And
hat.
there's the shot.
He's got a white hat. He's going to be really good.
Ham can't quite keep up. An observer's rule goal. That's Aronson for you.
I believe that takes us to half.
Aronson is a big, strong target. And Minnesota goes into half off break. They will be getting the disc back on offense. Strong showing by Grey Duck in this first half, but Arizona is still definitely in it. They need to keep their heads high and make minor adjustments. But it'll be an exciting finish to the Pres Day Finals.
Yeah, Sunburn's still talking about their defense. Expect to see a lot of changes in their line, especially with deep Kyle Wiegand injured.
Kyle Wiegand came out of this game after overextending on a layout and popping out his shoulder. Hopefully he's able to make a speedy recovery and join Sunburn right away. Tashida handles the pull. He pulls right to Eddie. Eddie releases a
Arizona
flick.
the snake in the grass. And
There
the
it
D.
is.
Sean Ham pulls that down.
That's the second time I've seen them run that this weekend. A perfect baited trap for this Minnesota offense
A
that
couple
likes
of
to
low
huck anyway.
throws Scooped up by Arizona receivers.
Arizona looking to get this break right back.
Yeah, Arizona's 3 for 3 on the weekend running snake in the grass.
Malleable means that it bends. Yes. And it can be molded.
Ooh. Sean Ham looks open deep. And there's a throw eaten up by the Minnesota defender.
Call on the field.
Yeah, man. Everyone's pretty sure I've been using it right. Okay, a material's ability to deform under 10.
Call on the play. Aronson resumed plays, swings to Tashida. Tashida releases, past a bidding Stephen Lynn.
And sends it deep. Minnesota keeps it in.
Ooh, deep.
Malleability is similar property as a material's ability to deform.
Minnesota holds 9-7.
McClintock signals ready.
Do you know anything about? So they're birds? People are birds now?
And Minnesota Grey Ducks, Vinny Vick, number 5 with the pole.
And from the sky.
Also on the line we have Jason Tashida and Eddie, two of their main offensive looks, who seem to play both sides of the
Big
day.
pull. Ooh, might have sailed out of bounds. Center did we may, number 8.
Alex Smith with the center disc, high release
Over the top
to
to
Nolan.
Schmallenberger.
Oh, Schmallenberger, there we go. Leanne on the sideline, pops it over the top to a wide open Alex Smith.
Looks like we're gonna have a pick call with that.
That's why you were so open.
Back to Leanne.
Dude, I hate it when people say, "Pick bullshit, you weren't within 10 feet. That's because I got fucking picked. Like, don't you understand what the call is?
Play resumes, Leanne still with the disc.
And
He
launched
shoots
it.
a high release backhand for Alex
Whoa.
Smith to pull in.
Oh! Minnesota bidding over the top. Looks like Alex Smith is calling a foul.
Great play by the Minnesota defender, but it would be hard not to go through Alex Smith's shoulder to touch that disc like he did to come to a conclusion.
Like this is not 10 feet. I was so tempted to put down the disc, lie down, and show him. Okay, I'm 5'10".
Lean again showing his complete willingness to shoot it deep.
How far do you think you are from me?
And the observer does rule it a foul.
It will be Alex Smith's disc on the line.
I don't want to stop playing though.
Alex Smith walking it out, Arizona hurrying to get into their end zone set. Big point for Arizona to keep them close in the game. They do not want to give up much ground, especially here in the second half.
This is a big point.
Stall count must be getting high. He shoots it around.
Rockets to Ben Lacey. We've got another call on the field.
Play stops, sends back. Looks like it was a pick call. Minnesota swarming around that disc. Alex Smith has to fight to find white jerseys.
That trapped on the goal line. Only a 20-yard end zone.
High release flick to Seth Stevens. Observers rule it good. Cheeky play by Arizona, and they stay in it. 8-9. Minnesota walks out with their O-line. The wind is slightly changing directions here,
I like to run to the nearest 100 pounds. What do I weigh? Well, let's see, 200.
but it's only a minimal breeze. Shouldn't make much effect on these Minnesota Huckers. Tashida will field the disc, passes it to Eddie, and is Tashida going to take off? No, he stays around the disc this time. Klain gets the disc on the sideline,
Arizona in a man defense.
shoots it upfield. Ooh, an almost mishandled throw. And a turf throw by number 1, I believe Augerson.
Dixon picks the disc up.
Dixon looks, keep the disc alive. Pick called. As Sean Ham takes the disc, looks like Aronson,
Grabbing his shoulder.
yeah, took a
Might
hit
have
in
been a
that
little
right
contact
shoulder.
there.
Aronson probably without a play on that disc, but we'll see if it goes back or not.
Yeah, a lot of
Definitely
players on both teams have played a lot of points in this game.
Ham and Dixon seeing a lot of play. Aronson and Tashida also seeing a lot of play on the Minnesota side. Disc stays with Sean. Sean cuts back to the open side and gets it back. Shoots it upfield. Klain with great downfield defense.
Dixon with the disc.
Pick is called. Play stops again.
Throw more. Throw the rest over here. Throw the whole bag.
Minnesota
Oh, yeah.
calling a lot of picks at this point.
Oh.
Arizona looking to spread out. Sean Ham at the back.
Dixon with a hammer to ham.
Aronson comes up, gets the hand on it,
Sean Ham pulls it down.
but it's not enough. Sean Ham, even when the defense is there, he's still unstoppable in that end zone. Bryce Dixon to pull. And Arizona starts their quest for another break. They want to regain the lead right in this possession.
That pull
Dixon shoots
sails
it
out the back.
straight out. Minnesota will take it on their brick mark.
It's actually the worst pull possible.
Eddie to handle.
Wow. And it's a great. Yeah.
Yeah, Minnesota with a side stack, and it looks like Arizona's coming out in man defense.
Minnesota wants to get separation for their main players.
Ooh, a nice
Klain.
grab. Wow.
With a fingertip grab all the way on the other side of the field. That was a long floaty throw. Tashita spreads it over to Aronson. Aronson
Puts it up.
releases a disc. And Minnesota
Scores.
they make that one easy after the Klain grab. Greg Aronson with the pull.
Here's Arizona's O-line with Ham. Dixon taking a break on the sideline.
McClintock handles it, centers the disc.
It's almost better than having it go.
No problem.
Starting
Looks like a zone set from Minnesota.
And you get the setup. Yeah. I think that's better.
Grey Duck looking to slow
May
down.
of Arizona, number 8, handling it through the middle a lot.
And Minnesota transitions into man. Perhaps it was never a zone. Maybe it was just sloppy. Alex Smith wants to shoot
There's
it.
that.
Wants to shoot it to Ham, but they put it away. And McClintock gets the disc and a stoppage of play is called. Arizona looking to line back up their stack and run their offense.
Lean with the disc.
Arizona keeping it with their
Oh,
handlers.
floaty scuba. Steven just brings it down.
He's a tall, lanky handler.
Another pick called.
Play stops. Sean Ham with the disc.
Hey, it's Pumbaa.
Alex Smith downfield, guarded by Tashita.
That's not true. You haven't gotten to like pick something up even? No.
Aronson staying close to his man as Arizona swings the disc back to Sean Ham.
Yeah, Smith working downfield, covered by Tashita. That's an exciting matchup right there.
Not much movement by Arizona, but they maintain the disc back to the center of the field.
We may working to get open. Finally snags it.
Very patient, but a pick is called on Smith by Tashita. Play stops. Arizona knocking at the door, only about 20 yards out.
Every time I've argued, I've gotten points back.
Vic on the mark.
That was only 2%.
Arizona taps it in. And a strike upfield
Sends it up
is
line.
handled. And a foul call. Aronson is not happy about that one. But the foul call is made. Disc is coming in on 0.
Like as much time as they have, as they want.
Is that Lacey with the disc?
That is.
Lacey stretching out, using those long arms.
I had
Grey Duck defender falls over, makes a call. But Seth Stevens pretty convinced that he fell on his own accord. We'll see if this goal stands or not.
I mean, not a lot of people know that for me, but I knew it.
A lot of discussion, but Arizona here showing that they have the legs still to grind these long man-to-man offensive points.
Still talking it out. Looks like Puma's going to step in.
Observer making a ruling, bringing the players together.
Get away with that, man. It's like you have one thing to do.
Grey Duck with their hands on their hips.
And what that means is like, that just shows how lazy some professors are. Like, you wrote the test and then just literally didn't proofread it.
Yeah, all you have to do is look at it.
Observer rules, no foul.
You would have caught that mistake.
Arizona scores.
They tie it up. This game is close, 10-10. Minnesota makes the walk back to the line, and Arizona gets to celebrate a hard-fought point. Arizona's tightened their rotation, but maybe not as tight as Minnesota. We'll see if that benefits them towards the end of the game. Leon, a big pull, lands in bounds, handled by Toshida. Toshida to Eddie.
Arizona's back in their zone set.
Swings to Eddie, to the wing. I believe that is Boyd.
Seriously, last quarter, like, I didn't have an exam that didn't have a grammar.
Toshida falling around the mark, back to Eddie. Eddie centers the disc to Klain. Klain trying to find Aronson. Turns and finds Toshida instead. Toshida quickly dumps back to Eddie. Arizona staying in front of the disc.
This seems to be halting Minnesota's pace a little bit. Had a couple of very quick scores, and this seems to be forcing them to throw more throws again. We'll see if it pays off.
Minnesota very slow there. Now with a quick break between Arison and Toshida. Arison looks up, still wanting to get yards. Klain to Aronson. Aronson to Toshida with an too much on that pass. Arizona with their chance to break. Dixon quickly picks up. Maybe ill-advisedly so, but he gets the break off.
Lacey snags
Another
that.
break.
Floaty break around, a misread by a Minnesota defender. Leaves
Sean
that
Ham
one.
is there.
Flips it into Riley Cool.
Ooh, calls a
Timeout,
timeout
Arizona.
there, right outside the end zone. Aronson just put too much on that throw to Toshida. Both seem not exactly pleased with each other. And Toshida both back a ways in the stack.
Yeah, second-year player Cleo with the disc. Sends it to Bryce Dixon, who reels it in past a bidding Minnesota defender.
Bryce Dixon coming up with those end zone scores, working in very tight spaces and putting his body on the line.
That's a big break for Arizona. Back on top, 11-10.
Arizona's happy to have a little bit of breathing room and a slight disc advantage. Coming into this soft cap, leading 11-10. Much of the same look in defense for Arizona. We've got Leon, we've got Sean Ham, we've got Dixon, we've got Lacey.
Yeah, it looks like Arizona's coming out with man defense.
Man to man, Bryce Dixon on Eddie. Eddie turns and shoots it right away. Aronson with a big bid, but can't pull it down. Excellent pressure.
Aronson's down.
Excellent pressure by
That was a huge play. Looks like
Arizona.
he might be calling injury on that.
He came down hard. He's a big guy. Putting himself horizontal. He wants this for his team just as much as anybody. No call. Arizona's going to pick up that disc.
That was a big bid down there from Aronson and Nolan Schmallenberger of Arizona.
Bravo to Arizona to finally put pressure on Minnesota's deep game. They are not having the success they've had the rest of this weekend. Leon picks it up and tries to get things started with a big upline cut.
Upline.
Aronson guarding. Aronson not looking too winded after that big fall. And he
Dixon
shoots
puts
it.
deep to Sean.
Sean Ham, again, can't be denied. Sean Ham gonna have to be nice and patient here.
Yeah, looking around.
Sean trying to come into the defender.
Great Duck defense everywhere.
Grey Duck defender calls stall. There's a lot of contact there, but don't know if Sean Ham made a call.
Looks like Sean Ham called a fast count.
I think instead of calling contact, you just have to try and bounce off your defender.
Dixon holding the disc now with Eddie on the mark. We'll see if this call stays or not.
The observer upheld a contact call.
0, disc stays with Dixon. Arizona looking to get in this end zone set. They want to go up. It's 11-10, Arizona advantage.
That disc is very dangerous in Dixon's hands right now.
He's the person you want with the disc on that line.
Absolutely.
Oh my god. Alright, that has to happen.
Dixon, Sean
He
Ham,
finds Sean Ham.
Sean Ham again. No one has found an effective contain for Sean Ham yet. Bigger defenders, faster defenders. Sean Ham is just powerful. He puts himself where he wants to be. And Bryce Dixon, the man with the hands, is there to deliver. Arizona's still finding a lot of success with their zone. Like
Even
I said,
without much wind, yeah.
the wind's picking up, which is in their advantage.
Lean
But-
Rockets a bull.
It's a very sophisticated, very well-run zone that makes these college teams get frustrated even with open throws. Grey Duck looking to try and find downfield throws. And Arizona, nice and tight.
What did you even
They
do?
break it through to Tashida to Aronson. Aronson releases a disc. And Leon
Arizona
is there.
scoops up that D.
Yeah, D.
That's
It's
exactly
real.
what Arizona wants. They want players like Aronson to get frustrated and try and force things. Dixon shoots a
Puts
flick
it deep.
to Sean
to
Ham.
Oh, who bids just out of reach.
Bit too much sauce on that throw. Sean Ham loses his pants. And that's one of the first throws that I've seen evade Sean Ham's grasp all weekend. So nothing he could have done to get it.
It wasn't like
Yeah, Arizona setting their zone back up. Sub-zero with a full 70 to go.
Dixon wanted to go for that kill shot.
because it was like straight up.
Almost mishandled throw by Minnesota. Tashida in the center of the field. Swings to Klain. Klain to Eddie. Eddie looking up that hole, but he doesn't seem to find any receivers. Minnesota wings very stagnant. They are not moving at all. Number 18 and number 1 seem very content to just hang out on that sidelines. Letting Tashida and Aronson and Eddie work this disc themselves.
I might agree.
Minnesota has Boyd back as a handler as well.
I don't know.
Aronson takes it in the middle of the field.
Tashida
Tashida
snags
grabs
that.
past a bidding defender. There's a hammer. There's the Minnesota wings getting involved.
Pre-K? You had pre-K school?
Minnesota now 20 yards out of their end zone, 25 yards. Looking not to lose yards, but the Arizona defense wants to keep that pressure on. Sean Ham staying close on Tashida. Klain to Boyd, back to Klain to Tashida.
I was playing with blocks.
This is my second year of public school.
Back to Klain, Klain to the middle of the field to Aronson. Aronson looking at the end zone. Back to Klain, very close quarters here. And there's the
Hammers.
hammer.
And there it
Klain
is.
finds it. That's the poise that Minnesota is going to need to show these next couple of points. Minnesota
Yeah, but that was a
coach
that
is
was a
preaching
May.
very physical defense. He's wanting his players to shut down those cuts before they even start. Maybe save their legs a little bit. We'll see how Arizona does with the
They did
physicality.
pretty well at Sean Ryan.
Arizona no stranger to physicality either. They came up very strong, not afraid to use their bodies on defense
Big
since game
bloody
1.
pull from Aronson.
Aronson, big blades, handled by McClintock and centered.
We may hit Stevens.
No, Santa
Who hits
Cruz.
You
Placey.
see? No one shooting deep yet. Smith stops his cut back to Stevens. Leon is open on the far side, and there's a big swing. Leon looking.
Yes, that's Stevens.
Stevens
Schmallenberger.
looking
I'm
upfield.
excited. I want to go.
Arizona playing well against this tight man-to-man defense, finding that open looks. McClintock shoots, and Smith is there to reel it
Reels
in. Arizona makes the score. Observers rule it good. It is almost over, folks. 13-11. Arizona has one more point
Wait, is that the game?
to win their second tournament in a row. Minnesota heads are down. Aronson walking back to the line. Leon to pull. Garnello's probably going to take that mark again. And it's game point for Arizona.
And that pull
Big floating pole.
sails just out of bounds.
Minnesota will take it at their brick.
Torch.
Eddie to start with the disc.
Well, it looks like you guys are really running well.
And it's the same line for Minnesota. Boyd, Eddie, Klain, Tashida, Aronson, and two very quiet wings.
You don't have to have any.
Yeah, not surprising to see Arizona's zone here. Minnesota's swinging it with a bit more fire than before.
Arizona really working to contain, and Minnesota seems like they're trying to get the disc all the way from one side of the field to the other.
Nice little
Nope.
break mark throw there from Tashida.
They're back to close quarters movement for Minnesota. Aronson to Eddie, back to Aronson to Boyd, and Arizona is there to stop any upfield movement.
Oh, come on.
Breaks through to
don't
Tashida,
like that.
Tashida to Eddie,
No.
Eddie to Boyd, Boyd to Aronson, and it's just out of Aronson's reach.
Dixon picking up the disc.
Aronson can't believe it. He's here to put a big mark on Dixon. Dixon wanting to exploit this turnover. And he goes deep. Is he going to shoot it? He holds, he holds.
Oh, great fakes.
Jams it up
Great
the line.
break by Dixon. Dixon walking back into place, and that might be a little bit too
Huge
much
bit
for
from
Leon to
just a
handle.
little bit out of range.
Yeah, you could.
Minnesota's off to the races, and they pick up. Arizona works to get that defense back on. Looks like they're transitioning into man. Klein with the disc. Klein to Boyd, swinging to Eddie. Eddie surveying the field. And Arizona's back in their zone look, which is an excellent transition.
Number 1.
Oh, Hammer!
Aronson around.
That's what you get.
Ooh, it's going to be a close call there. Foul called. Tashida saying he had that disc before the Arizona defender got there. Risky throw by Aronson. Great play by Lacey.
Got an observer right there. Let's see what he rules.
It's going to be close. I don't think I could call it. We'll see what this observer says. Observer upholds the foul, and Tashida is 3 yards outside of his own end zone.
Oh, come on, Pumbaa.
Lacey taps it in, and Tashida looks other places.
Great up looking to stay alive here.
Tashida calling to Boyd. Pulls it through. Might be a travel call. Aronson is standing in the end zone with the disc. Looks like the
Arizona
track.
tracks the call. Yeah.
All right.
Minnesota stays alive.
Boyd puts it into Aronson. 13-12. Arizona with 2 chances to close this out.
Yeah, I expect to see a big O-line from Arizona here. I expect both Dixon and Ham to be on this line.
For Arizona to topple this 2012 quarterfinalist, Minnesota, would be huge for the program.
There's Aronson with a pole.
But regardless of the outcome of this game, teams are going to have to respect Arizona.
Swing to Stevens. It's
Alex.
break side.
Good mark by number 13 to prevent that huck to Sean Ham. Stevens with the disc again, swings over.
Wallenberger sends it back to Wime. Wime hits Sean.
Ham finds the disc. Dixon going downfield. Pick is called. Ham with the disc. Stall count must be getting high. Tashida on the mark.
Can I take a whole pizza?
Observer says in on 5. Sean Ham still looking.
It's
Gets
Stevens.
that swing to Stevens.
Stevens hits Ham. Ham threads it to Dixon.
Alex
Ooh.
Smith with a good cut, setting himself up for a deep shot, but Sean Ham calls it off.
Looks like we've got a call on the mark.
Dixon looking very dangerous with this disc. He wants to put it in, but Arizona trusts him to make the right decision. Klein on the mark. We'll see if Klein can come up with a big defensive play.
Dixon
There's it
hammers
is.
to Smith. And that's the
Right
win.
off the back. Observers rule good. And that's game for Arizona.
Arizona takes it.
Big hammer
14-12.
by Dixon to Alex Smith, and that's the game.
West Coast!
Arizona cannot be denied. They are undefeated on the season. That's the second tournament in a row they've won for Sunbird. Minnesota, it's going to be a long road back to Minneapolis for them, but they played well, and they certainly shouldn't be counted out the rest of this season either. Both teams played excellently, and Arizona found what worked. This has been Adam Restad, joined by Arizona Sunburn injured player Zach Castillo for the 2012 Sky College Tour, presented by Spin Ultimate. Thanks for listening.